Hey guys, we're at Seek HQ. We're about to film an episode of QWT, a very special one with the CTO of Seek, James Ross. So I'm looking forward to this one. Follow me. Hey guys, welcome to Questions, Wings and Things. I'm your host, James Farry. I've got another namesake, James Ross here, CTO of Seek. It's a special episode, a one-off episode, because we're doing it at Seek's offices. Welcome.
Thanks very much, James. Lovely to have you here with us.
That's a great name, by the way.
A great name. I really like your name.
Are you looking forward to this?
No.
Yeah?
No.
So, to give a bit of backstory, a friend of the show, obviously Ben Chan, he said, I know someone who would be good for this. James Ross, you've got to get him on.
Yeah, I saw how much fun he had on the show. He thought, who can I punish that I know in tech? Yes.
So I appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to this one.
So am I.
Yeah. So basically, you know the score. We've got 5 morsels of food, 5 hot sauces to accompany that morsel, and some heavy hitting questions along the way.
Okay, let's go.
So let's dig into it.
Okay.
The first one is...
Are you sure you're starting with the first one, not
first
the
one,
last one?
But it's got death in the name.
Definitely. Okay.
So it's called Original Death Sauce.
Original death sauce.
You know, it's all right. You could have this on a Sunday with your meat, your chicken. Bottoms up. Cheers.
Here we go.
Not too bad.
That's nice. It's got a real bite.
Yeah. It's like I could probably eat that on the daily.
I'll display my overconfidence here. Watch this.
Oh, he's going for it.
You know, got to mop it up.
Mop it up. I'll do that as well then. I'll match your confidence. You've got a career spanning nearly 40 years. You've been obviously the CTO of Envato previously, now the CTO of one of Australia's tech powerhouses, Seek. Has there been any major learnings and teachings from leaders along the way?
Definitely. Had a manager who was my manager when I did probably the biggest screw up of my career.
Yeah.
I was working for a computer hardware manufacturing company. So they weren't a software company, they were a hardware company, but I was working on the software for the manufacturing company. And I made a mistake and shut down the whole factory for 24 hours.
Shit.
And I remember the feeling when I realised what I'd done. And I'd done what I thought was the right thing, which I tested it in the test environment first, and it worked, and then I did it in production. And then, if you can imagine a factory where all the people in the factory are working off, instructions that come off printers, right? So it's saying, here's the next order, we need 12 of these and 6 of these and whatever these. All the descriptions I'd blanked out. So we're getting all these instructions saying, we need 12 blank things and then 6 blank things and 4 blank things and go and do this with them. So that they're like, all these instructions were now completely useless. And I went into my boss and I told him what I'd done. And he said, oh, it's okay, we'll get the data from the test environment. And I said, no, I did it there first. And the calmness with which he said, I can remember him saying, okay, well, we'll have to send everyone home and go to the backups and restore it overnight and bring everyone back and they'll have to redo their work. It was the calmness with which, he responded to this, okay, I guess we're going to shut the whole factory down and send everyone home and say, come back tomorrow and redo all the work you've done this morning. And that made a huge impression on me, that it was a really great example to me of leadership in a crisis. Yeah. And he definitely considered it a learning experience for me at the time, and I did as well. Yeah. Another one probably was when I had, I'm a tech person, I grew up as a programmer and that's all I ever wanted to do was work in tech and code. And I had a boss sit me down one time and say, you need to broaden your interests here. Like if you're gonna get to do this leadership role properly, you need to actually start to care about business. Yeah. And you need to care about what sales is doing and what marketing is doing and what the rest of the business is doing. And so this goes to a lot of the advice I give other engineers. You've got to, if you want to become a leader in tech, you've got to broaden beyond just tech, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had leaders who shaped me in, ways like that I'll always be grateful for.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm surprised there was no F-bombs from that previous manager, but yeah. Zero, nice and calm, patient.
Yeah, so
that's great.
I try to pay that forward by always remaining calm
Yeah.
when there's a crisis.
That's great. If people are aspiring to step into your shoes, obviously at that C-suite, as a technology person, obviously there's a lot of engineers who will want to get there one day. What advice would you have for them?
My first question is usually, why do you want it? Like, generally what people think it's like, it's not usually what things are like. They think it means you have control and you can just say something and everyone does it. It's like, it's not what it's like at all. But assuming they do want it, then it really does come down to getting good at a broader set of skills than just tech. Tech is absolutely the foundation and critical, and we have to be amazing at it. But you also have to be good at dealing with people, and you also have to be good at dealing with understanding why the tech matters to the business you're in. It's the business that's the main thing, and tech is helping that. So it's really about broadening, because a lot of tech people, software engineers in particular, are very, very deep on tech and relatively shallow on the people issues and business strategy stuff.
Yeah, nice. That's great. It's good advice either way.
So we're up for number 2, are we?
Up for number 2. So we'll fire on in again. I'll probably give this a bit of a shake. So this one is probably, good to know that.
Are these from your personal collection?
It is.
This is your personal collection?
My wife actually has this pretty much with most meals. But,
okay.
We found it I've got a good backstory with this one. We found it in the Richmond Market, just off Bridge Road.
Okay.
There you go, I've done the same, I think. That looks about even, I think.
Good vibes.
Exactly. Bottoms up. Cheers.
Here we go. Is it better to bite them in half or just go all in one go? What do you think?
I do half.
Half?
I'll dig in while you're finishing that morsel.
No, you have to mop up, James.
I do have to mop up, yeah. I'm trying to cheat you here. You're going to keep me right. I'm going to talk about a word that you're probably sick of hearing. Unification. You've got a t-shirt.
I've got the t-shirt. Unification.
Obviously, as we all know, Seek is the biggest job marketplace in Australia. Over the past few years, I think behind the scenes, you've obviously, through acquisitions, been looking at Asia and essentially turned that platform from 30 million Aussies and Kiwis to over 430 million, which is a mammoth task in itself. I'm sure you've had lots of frustrations and challenges. So I suppose what have the key challenges been over the last few years for you, the team, through this process?
When we started, it was literally 3 separate businesses, Seek, JobStreet and JobCB, operating separately, separate products, separate tech stacks, separate corporate directories, separate everything.
Yeah.
So the fundamental journey has been about bringing that all together, not just our customer-facing systems, but corporate systems, finance, HR, collaboration, all of it. And we fundamentally had to bring in, as he dies quietly, had to bring in
It's starting to get me as well.
a whole bunch of extra help. Like we fundamentally, the biggest challenge is we didn't actually have the capacity or capability to pull it off. So we had to bring in a whole bunch of outside help, and so then so you have to do that, but then that creates there's a whole bunch of issues when you bring in a lot of new people quickly into a culture, where Seek has a very strong culture. So everyone's having to figure out what our ways of working are going to be like. We have the typical agile ways of working, DevOps, agile continuous delivery, all that stuff that people take for granted these days. But that wasn't enough for us to tackle this problem. This wasn't a problem we could increment towards. So we actually had to disrupt our ways of working as well. So, and then the time pressure. We just decided we want it done by this date without really knowing that it would fit.
Yeah.
So, it was very, very intense, but ultimately incredibly successful.
Yeah, that's great. I think actually I've done a bit of work across Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, building startups up there and growing their team. So obviously I was well aware of the, I suppose the Seek presence there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's obviously great work. So massive congrats.
Thank you.
Weight off the shoulders, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What's the next thing?
It really. Well, now for us, it's about using it. Now we've got to use it, right? Because it's really about just getting things to customers faster, just doing more for more customers faster. And now we're doing that. It's great.
Yeah, perfect. How did you find that one? Uncle Mungo's.
That really builds. Like, you know, early on it's like,
It's nice.
that's nice, tasty. And then it just settles and settles. And it's like it's sending roots out into your mouth.
We'll fire into
Number three.
three.
Oh, get ready.
number 3 it's called Da Bomb. The feedback I've had on the Scovilles, this is the mid-range, but these two are highest. But on this one apparently hits the hardest
Okay.
from what I've heard.
I'll get the milk ready. What, do you have a technique? Is it better on the roof of the mouth or the tongue?
I just kind of, you know, it's just,
You don't have a
it's terrible everywhere.
kind of
So
strategy? It's all the same.
it gets mixed in together. So
It's all the same.
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, it is a harsher taste.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably, you know, you set my expectations well. I was ready for it. And now I'm wondering how much it's going to build.
Yeah, it will build. But while that's building, I get into question number 3. A James Ross dream team. What kind of core key attributes are you looking for when you meet people, say for an interview?
The first thing I want is people that care about what they're doing,
Yep.
as in the purpose, the why, what are we doing and why, and I want them to care about that. I want them to care about how they're doing it, like the craft of software engineering, I really care about. I want people to care about that.
Yep.
And
It's
it's getting in.
I can feel it burning.
Yeah, it's building nicely. And I want them to care about the people they're doing it with.
Yep.
All right, so that to me is the foundation. You want people who care, because that gives you energy, creativity, and gets the best out of everyone. And then it's probably, you know, we need people to be confident moving forward. Like, you've got a problem, come up with a solution, and you're confident it's going to work, and you've set about making it work. But you also need people who can change their minds when, you know, new information comes in. So
Yeah.
sometimes we describe that as, you know, having strong opinions but weakly held. So you want, whatever the question is, you want to have an opinion, how you might address it, but you also want people to be open to challenge and changing their mind.
Yeah, it's great. That was obviously number 3. Great answer,
Thank you.
as usual. But this one it reads as Mega Death Sauce. I think it's in the probably about 500,000 Scovilles.
You've got your Metallica t-shirt, not your Megadeth t-shirt.
Exactly. I should have.
So
That is a
Megadeth
great. That is a
You should
great
have a Megadeth
idea.
t-shirt.
Right, bottoms up.
Megadeth.
2 left. Again, that doesn't
Maybe
hit.
I'm comfortably numb.
Yeah, Pink Floyd reference, love it. You know, the future of work, right? Obviously, AI is a huge topic at the moment, especially in the workforce. So who better to ask than the CTO of Seek?
It's definitely going to reshape the workforce. Like, literally, like, how many of each type of person do we need in an economy is going to be changed by this? Like, everything is telling us now in software engineering that AI is enhancing our developers. Like,
Yeah.
everyone now has AI coding assistants,
Yeah,
and it can give you suggestions, and it's really good getting you from a blank page to something that works really quickly. It's really good at helping you understand code that's overly complex, and it's actually helpful. So in the sense that the world has far fewer software engineers than it wants,
yeah,
it's going to make software engineers more productive.
yeah,
So more people will be able to get access to software engineering skill, and that will part of the positive here is that if you've got a problem you can tackle now with 5 software engineers instead of 10, you could look at that as saying, well, we've lost 5 programming jobs. Or you could say, now people who can only afford 5 programmers can start their business.
Yeah, yeah.
And that never would have started before.
Yeah.
So I don't, if I focus on software engineering for the moment, I see it as only positive.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make more people able to participate in software engineering activities, which the world wants more of.
Yeah.
And it's going to make more startups and businesses possible that would never have previously been possible.
And then that will increase jobs.
Yeah,
There as well,
just
as well,
because it makes more things possible. So we're not thinking about the jobs that will be created. Now, that said, there will be a lot of, my understanding is that like in the legal profession, at the lower level, a lot of those entry-level jobs, maybe they're not as numerous now because, the senior folks can use some AI to do some of that more entry-level stuff. So I'm no expert in that, but there's probably some disruption of that kind. So you wonder how the young people are going to get started in some of these fields.
Yeah.
It's okay for the people late in their career, but how are the people going to start out in their career?
How'd you go from junior through to senior through those learnings like we've talked about, and obviously learning from your mistakes as well.
But every wave of tech does disrupt. I was listening to a podcast recently. It was hysterical, just in terms of how similar things were in different cycles. So in 1942, there was a musician's strike.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a legitimate middle-class job to be a musician.
Yeah.
You could raise a family and buy a house as working as a musician. Now, as a amateur musician myself, I know that's not very possible now. And the technology was records.
Yeah.
It was records. The introduction of the record meant you didn't need as many musicians because you could just put on a record.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas they used to hire musicians. And there was a strike because there were hundreds of thousands of musicians whose work was affected. And over time, it did. There are fewer musicians now in the economy because of the introduction of tech like that.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time to play through.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. How did you find number 4? It's all right.
More tolerable than number 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the order here. I think you're
I'll double check that actually. Yeah, maybe I'll need to check the Scovels on this one. Maybe we're just numb. Now we're just numb.
I might just be numb. Yeah. It's like, it's all good now, just bring it on. Because I'm not feeling anything.
This one is called Ultra Death, right? So
Ultra Death.
this one does kick it up a notch, but I think now we're in a good spot.
Well, we've made it to the end, whether we make it past the end.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out.
You've done this before, unlike me.
We'll kick it up a bit. We'll get some good amount on there. I'll do the same.
Oh dear.
Right.
Maybe the milk coating was the trick. I'm going to go the milk coating.
Yeah, go for that. I'll do it as well, actually.
Okay.
We've got fun questions for the end as well.
Okay.
So nothing too heavy hitting. I'm dabbling.
It's interesting how you put all the sauce at one end, so when I bite it, I get all of it. Is that deliberate?
I've come to learn that you're a bit of a musician.
Yep.
First of all, what instrument, or are you the lead singer?
Guitar and sing, yeah.
Guitar and sing. Love that. That's why I'm glad I wore my Metallica t-shirt today.
Yes.
A few band-themed questions.
Okay.
But I've heard that you've been in, obviously, in Vato, you had the Envertones.
Yes.
You sang some unification
With Ben.
songs.
Yep.
Was Ben in it?
Ben was in 1 year.
Yeah, nice.
He's a great piano player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll have to, I mean, I can't do any of that.
Get him back
we'll have a little get-together. I'll play the triangle. Yeah.
Yes.
I've got 3 questions based around
Okay.
your musician abilities. Number 1, what song would describe your leadership style?
Yeah, that's probably a question for other people who observe me. What would I say? Maybe some people who work in my team might say "Crazy Train," or "We got to get out of this place." I feel like it's really an endless learning journey. So maybe "Learning to Fly." Either Pink Floyd have a song called "Learning to Fly," Foo Fighters have a song called "Learning to Fly." The whole time it feels like learning to fly. I think.
Like that. I probably, if I was to answer that, I would go Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets. Nice. Metallica. Not Pastor of Muppets.
That's a great one. I'm going to steal that.
No copyright.
Number 2 is all around your, if you're putting the band together, if you've got 3 spots in your band, which kind of historical figures, celebrities, tech figures would you put in there? And what instrument?
Ooh, okay. Okay, so if I was going to form a band related to tech, I'd probably form a punk band
Yeah.
and make the songs about critiquing tech.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of podcasts I really like, both out of the US, that take a critical, they love tech, but they always take a good critical eye on it. So Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway from the Pivot podcast I really like. So
Yep.
put Kara on the drums, Scott on the bass,
Yep.
because they're the hard-hitting foundation. And then there's another podcast called Hard Fork,
Yeah.
with Kevin Roos from the New York Times and Casey Newton from Platformer. So I'd have them up the front because they're funny. So maybe Kevin on the keys and Casey on the guitar with me.
Awesome.
And we'd sing songs making fun of tech and keeping it in check.
Yeah, love it. I'll be there to see that.
Good.
And final question, you lock yourself in your office, your home office, and it's all unification. What album is on repeat to get in the zone?
Oh, the Getting in the Zone album. Is my wife home? If let's say
Let's
no,
say
let's say
no,
no,
yeah, let's say no,
because
'cause
my
you're full
my
focus.
choices are more restrained if my wife's home. If my wife's not home, I'm ironically famous for being passionate about a band called Weezer. You
Yeah.
might have heard of Weezer. They've been around a long time. So probably either their Maladroit album or their White album. They're probably the 2 picks for me.
Yep.
But it really does change week to week. So this week it's Pearl Jam's new album, Dark Matter. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Love it.
I haven't given it a listen yet, but I love Pearl Jam.
Great.
Yeah,
Really good.
I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
Highly recommended.
How did you find that last one?
I survived.
Yeah, you survived.
I mopped it up.
Look at this. Look at this plate.
This is, wiping the floor with Ben Chant. I think that's what this is.
I think you've mopped them up.
I mopped it up.
Metaphorically and physically, yeah.
Need more chicken. Where's number 6, James?
We'll come back next year and I'll bring some even hotter ones. How about that?
Let's go.
No, absolute pleasure to have you on. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me. It was great fun.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for listening.